So hi everybody, this is a video aimed at new golfers to the kind of simulator world, people that might be looking to build a simulator or possibly have just done so and are interested in, how is this going to affect my real life game? They're also interested in the differences in ways different people score on a simulator versus real life. And one of the questions I'm kind of being asked is, is golf simulation like real golf? My answer to that is normally yes. With a few caveats. And the yes bit is you are hitting a golf ball with a golf club, and it's depending on how well you hit that golf ball, are you getting your results. That's where it differs slightly from going down to the entry level in the simulator world. Things like the OptiShot or some of the products that clip onto a golf club, where you may not even need to hit a golf ball, in that they can be good fun and they can give you some useful information, but they're not really looking at the golf ball and saying, okay, here's exactly how that shot was hit. So, you can't be a terrible golfer and be able to be very good on the simulator world using things like the GC2, the SkyTrack, TrackMan, FlightScope, because they are looking at the ball data and are trying to accurately reflect your shot on the simulation software that you're running. Now, you are always going to be within the confines of those technologies. If they have any inaccuracies, that could happen when you hit a shot, that it might pick it up 1 degree right, 1 degree left, or different. If it has a misread, and it does happen from time to time, then again, you may have hit a great shot, the perfect shot you wanted to hit, and it may turn out with a bad outcome. That's different to obviously real life golf, where you get the results based on physics that you hit. But I'm going to talk through the differences. In general, the feeling is that golfers that have built a simulator, that are playing regularly, are around 10 shots better on simulator than they are in real life. And we can explain why that is. There are people that are different, perhaps very good golfers that don't really know the nuances of sim golf, which I'll talk to you about. And they may struggle with elements of that, which holds them back when they're playing sim golf. On the other hand, there may be less good golfers, such as myself, that are actually very good at the simulator aspects, and it means I will vastly outperform how I am in real life. And certainly 2 weeks ago I did a video on a real course in Peterborough, and I shot 90, and it was pretty average round, really mediocre golf from my perspective. I then, within the week, played a simulator round where I shot 60. So I have 30 shots difference, and I'll explain what those items are and why some people may take longer to get used to sim golf versus others. So the first one is visualization. So one of the key things, the hardest things for someone coming new into a simulator, whether it's your own or whether it's a guest coming around, are those shots that are between, let's say, 2 yards and 70 yards. Those ones where you've got to stand there, look up and try and hit a 43-yard chip shot or wedge. And it's so difficult without the visual guide for your body, your brain to work out what is that, how much swing is that. If you're not someone that's practiced it on the range and knows exactly what the feeling is, that can be difficult. Same thing with putting. Having to hit. I'm stood about 2.5 meters away from the screen, and I've got to visualize what it would be to hit a 45-foot putt or a 70-foot putt. And that can be very, very difficult for people that are new to it. And with time, it can take months before you nail the short game and the putting within a simulator. That's my experience. Certainly wanting to know the distance, the elevation, wind, light, all these things that you want to know when you're out on the course can be difficult in real life. Obviously you've got GPS watches, rangefinders, that anyone that's got a simulator and a launch monitor, I'll be amazed if they don't use those in real life, because it just translates the data you're getting. But when you're playing in simulator golf, you do know the exact distance, the elevation of the course, as well as the undulations. You can know exactly what the wind speed is, and you also get a lie penalty, which says the penalty for being in the rough or the bunker is going to be, say, 12% on power, maybe 25% on spin. When you know all that data, you can do the number crunching and you can come up with an exact yardage you want to aim for that shot. If I know that I've got to hit 170 yards, I know it's a full 7-iron for me, and it lets me commit to the shot. If I'm outdoors and it's blustery and windy, and I really don't know, or a slightly dodgy lie, you stand there thinking, is this right? And sometimes that uncertainty stops you committing to the shot. That can make a big difference in terms of the quality of ball striking for me. Consistency. When you're playing simulator golf, you'll get a consistent speed for the fairways. You get a consistent stimp speed for all of the greens. And you can obviously putt accordingly to that. Certainly this time of the year in the UK, you can play a course and you'll have some slightly boggy greens, some firmer greens, and the speeds could vary significantly on them. And that's where you obviously need, there's a real art to being able to kind of read it and calculate and work out what's going on. Sometimes it's pure luck, but certainly having that consistency is a big advantage, that you're able to kind of adjust your game according. I put correction up there. Correction meaning, if I hit a couple of bad shots, I just look at the launch monitor and the GC2 will tell me that maybe it was I've got the HMT as well, so it would tell me the club data, that it might have been a heel or a toe strike, it might be that it was an in-to-out swing. It could just be that knowing how much it was pulled left or right, let me just make that adjustment in my next swing. When I'm outdoors, you've got to do that based on feel, obviously looking at the shot itself, but also having the know-how, how to kind of make those little corrections. It's easier when you've got the data in front of you, and then when you make a correction and it's exactly what you want, you think, right, I'll stick to that. It's much harder in real life for me to have confidence to make any of those changes. The setup aim is huge. We've got a mat here, the T35 Combi mat, which is a firm stance, great. Outdoors you get that. I don't like standing on squidgy stuff. But it also has the hitting section. So I've got lines, I've got natural lines that I can see lined up directly to the screen, giving me the ability to make sure that when I'm standing there, I can see if the club face is like straight. I can see that actually my left foot is often getting forward of my right foot. That happens if you watch any of my live streams. I've been doing lots more in real courses. Happens all the time. Now I can just think, okay, with that line, I need to get my left foot back a little bit. Whereas outdoors, without realising it, often I was lining up about 30, 40 yards right at the pin, and obviously trying to make some adjustments, in some cases hitting a shank and various things. So having the visual guides within your simulator, maybe your building itself, it might be marked on screen, is a big advantage for being able to adjust what you want to do. Also on the software, I can actually, as well as making sure I'm aligned parallel or perpendicular to the launch monitor, I can actually also on the software click exactly the point I want to aim at. So as long as I know I'm aligned and I hit the shot straight, it will go or start off in the direction of the pin. Whereas outdoors, obviously that's a skill, being able to line yourself and visualise and see if you're actually lined up. And that's something that's difficult, certainly I find, making sure I'm actually aimed in the right place. Environmental, obviously wind, rain, snow, the cold. You know, I suffer with cold hands, and I think it's Rayno's thing where they get numb very quickly and very sore. So I don't even tend to play in cold weather. But it may be rainy and you end up, the club might be slipping in your hands, even just confidence that it might be slipping in your hands. You may get mud on the ball, all those kind of things in the simulator. You can play no matter what the weather is on the software. Obviously, that's the main reason for building a simulator for many people, that they can play golf through the winter, which isn't the purpose of the video, but it does just show that those environmental factors aren't going to be as strong for you in the simulator world, although there will be some penalties maybe when it's wet or it's raining, or the wind can be set to be blustery, so it does change in terms of the speed, and that can give a little bit of uncertainty like you get in real life. Moving on to the stance, I've already mentioned the setup, but the stance itself, it's a flat lie. It's a flat, consistent lie every single shot, whether I'm on an upslope, downslope, whether I'm in a bunker. I don't get any impairment on my swing, so even if I'm just the other side of a tree, I'm able to hit a full shot, which will go off on the simulator. In real life, you can be down on your knees, hacking away. I think there was one on my video where I was trying to hit within a bush, and it was, it's kind of embarrassing, but you always get that good lie. Yes, the software can say that, okay, if it's a lie above your feet, that it's going to add a bit of draw to the ball, and below your feet a bit of fade, but ultimately you're still stood there on a nice lie, hitting a shot, feeling good. As soon as I get outside and I'm on a really big slope, ball above my feet, it's so difficult for me not to hit a fat shot. I just find it difficult, and the more I play outdoors, the better it will be. But that's one of those things that's just easier in the simulator, but it massively does help you get a consistent bit of ball striking. The bunkers is probably the most severe of those. I'm terrified of bunkers in real life because I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really practice. I know the theory behind it, but if you're not going to go out there and actually hit some of the bunkers, you get very nervous and maybe you don't have the confidence to hit through, because I'm going to blade one over the back of the green or hit a playing partner or something. So I dread them, but in a simulator, great. It's in a bunker. It's effectively just a flat lie. I've just got to hit it a bit harder and handle the spin penalty. Or in some software, I mean, we use Jack Nicklaus Perfect Golf, which I think is the best. Sometimes you're wishing the ball into the fairway bunkers because it's got less penalty than the rough. That's just the nature of the game. Ball finder. Oh, we all wish we had these. You know, you're there on the tee. You hit one that maybe isn't awful, but it just goes into the rough. And if you play some of the courses, I'm up in Yorkshire, If you play some of the courses, it's really thick, heavy rough. It may be heathery type courses, and the ball can just be lost. Even though it's only just off the fairway, you've got no idea how far it was. I'm not very good at spotting it in the first place. But on the simulator, you will never lose the golf ball. It will always follow the golf ball, and you will find it. You might lose one in your sim room. That's a whole other thing. But you're not going to lose it on the game, and therefore it'll find you deep in the rough, and you'll be able to put the ball down on a nice lie, get your 3-wood out, possibly, absolutely smash it, and with a bit of distance penalty and spin penalty, because you're in the rough, you can recover with a nice 200-yard shot. In real life, even if I found that golf ball, I might be hacking out with a wedge and desperately hoping it just bobbles out a few metres. Again, huge benefit, and that's the next point, the recovery, the ability to kind of get straight back in after a bad shot. And a lot of the times on simulators, if there's water left and there's rough to the right and there's no real danger, it's actually the safe play is just to smack it into the rough rather than take on the fairway, knowing that you could go off in the green. These are all the little experienced, I call myself a simulator pro. A few people have called me it. They might be giving me too much credit, whereas in real life, as I say, I'm certainly not. I will mention it in real life before I go on to the next one. So when I built my simulator, I was probably hitting about 100. Now, nearly all the last few rounds have been in the 80s, 82 being my best, 90 was the last round, a lot of 85s. That's just the fact that I'm just feeling so much more confident striking the ball. And that's on some very good courses like I played in Vegas with some of the sim golfers, and it's also around some of the kind of shorter courses and local courses. So certainly my games come on. I'm still held back by my lack of ability to hit putter. I'm not very good putter. That's like why I put left-handed. I've got the yips right-handed, and I'm not very good around the green with wedges. And they, along with my wild game, they're the worst bits in my game. So moving on to putting. So believe it or not, even though I've just said I'm an appalling putter in real life, on the simulator I'm up there with being the best putter on tour. And it's just because I can kind of do the simulator putting. You can see all the undulations. You get the data of how much uphill, downhill it is, so I know what speed to calculate. It's a consistent roll. I aim it, so I'm pretty good at the simulator software element of being able to work out how much break at what speed, where it's going to go. And all I have to do is stand there and be able to hit the foot distance I want to, 32 feet, 46 feet, even up to 100 feet, and know the power. And I've played so much golf, 4 years of simulated golf, probably playing as many competitions as anybody. It's something you learn over time and you can be good at it. In real life, I struggle to read the greens. I really struggle to see breaks, to work out which way it is. And if you watch any of the videos in real life, I'm hitting one that I think will break about 1.5 meters left and it goes right, and that massively holds me back. But it has got me to the point where I've got at least a consistent straight putting stroke, which I used to miss all kinds of little putts. That gives me confidence. But again, knowing that, doing the kind of game element is crucial. Whereas very good putters that come into the simulator world can find it very difficult because there isn't that visual guide. They may be very good at reading the breaks and reading the green speeds. That's not actually that helpful when it comes to having to use the game aspect. So that can be something that holds people back for a period of time until they're very comfortable. Nerves. Now, nerves can be both. I'm a terribly nervous person in general. And first tees, I never used to play golf because I hated being watched by people and making a fool of myself on the first tee. I built a simulator to play in the confines of my own lockup and to make sure that nobody could kind of laugh at how bad my game was and enjoy playing it. Now I'm doing live streams, it's kind of crazy, but it gives you the ability to obviously play and practice without people watching if you are a nervous golfer, and to learn the experience of competing in competitions, the team events, and handling it better, hopefully. So when I do get asked to play through with a group of guys in real life, I'm not actually terrified that I'm going to top the ball or miss the ball. I still have been. I've got the issue with the tops at the moment, but not embarrassingly is the way I would view it. Whereas in real life, of course, it can still be terrifying going on that first tee and having a group of 10 people behind on society days, just desperate for you to mess things up. The long game's another thing. If you end up playing a lot of local public courses, sometimes they can be very short, and things like the 3-wood, the hybrids, the 4-iron, they don't even get a look in. So taking part in the simulator tours, we're playing long distances, sometimes off the full shot, off the tips, and I get used to using the full range of clubs, and that's good because my long game probably is way better than it should be for my quality of golfer that I am. And that helps me that when you do go and play real course, and actually you do have some good long shots to get you back in things, and can be really useful when you start playing longer courses in real life. So again, taking part on the simulator and being able to kind of practice some clubs that you don't get to use in real life can really help with that aspect of the game. Speed is a huge point, a huge factor for some people, not for others. When building a simulator, one of the benefits is you can go out there, power everything up, put the heating on, play a round of golf, close everything back down, and probably be done in about 40 minutes if you're really on it. And some of my videos are very fast, others take a bit more time depending on what it is, but around 40-45 minutes. You don't get any delays unless you get sidetracked, and you can play as fast as you want. And one crucial aspect is I can hit a shot, see a 7-iron, 170, I know exactly the shot to hit it, go get the wedge. There's no time for me to start thinking and standing there thinking, oh, there's trees there, or the water's over there, and oh, how good was that swing, was that bad, did I wobble back on my feet? When you're playing real life golf, it can be painfully slow, of course. You can get hold-ups, and for some people, that can be really painful, not just getting annoyed, but certainly it can be painful that I'm overthinking things, and that doesn't help my game. So I'm one of those people that does struggle if it's a slow round of real life golf. But also just in general, as I say, the fact that you can play so quickly is fantastic for those that like to move on with it. Fun factor is huge. I mean, you can obviously have great fun on real golf. The best golf I probably had was over in Vegas, meeting up with many of the US golfers that are on the tour. And part of that was the fact I think we got offered beers after the shots on the first tee, beers on the second, and by the time I finished shooting my best ever score around Reflection Bay in Vegas, I was on my 5th or 6th Stella, which is very unusual, but it was so much fun. In general, I've played a lot of golf where it's not like that. It is a bit stuffy, whereas you can have music playing, you can have friends around drinking, all those kind of aspects. And again, it's just fun being able to play golf and not really care so much. But there are so many aspects where it will make you a better golfer. Will it make you a better golfer? It should do. It's just the amount of shots you can hit, ball striking, especially during the off season, maybe with bad weather, and just get that consistency. And for someone like myself, again, just to know my distances can be huge for club gapping. To have confidence that when I'm outside looking at GPS, it says it's 170, it's flat, there's hardly any wind. I know exactly that's going to be a 7-iron, a full 7-iron for me. Maybe a soft one if it's going to have a bit of rollout, but you just have confidence hitting those shots. You can obviously try all the crazy stuff. You're in the trees and you need to play a massive hook to get down to a green surrounded by water. In real life, you probably wouldn't do it. Why not try it in the simulator? And if you've got those shots and can start working on the punches and the fades and the draws, it does mean when you have those in real life, you've actually practiced it, rather than just getting out your... it's not the kind of thing you practice at the range not everybody practices those at the range. It can help you with getting a solid putting stroke. Most people are actually okay putters, I find. In real life, I'm terrible. So the fact I've hit so many, and now I know that I can actually pretty much hit a straight putt, and the right kind of pace it is, it's all about reading greens and aligning myself now. But at least I know that I'm capable of hitting a straight putt, albeit I'm aligning on the mat and I'm aligning my feet to the mat rather than outdoors. I'm kind of looking and I'm not sure if I'm aiming in the right direction, which is difficult for me. Concentration, driver. Now, driver should be the same. This is the bit that annoys me. It's the one shot where you're even taking the mat out of the equation. You're literally just standing there, teeing the ball up to a height that you're comfortable with, and you need to hit it well. And I can do that on the tour, hit it really well indoors, and go outside and just be completely useless. So it just shows that other aspects of alignment, setup, overthinking things, whatever it could be, are significant, because it's not just myself. I know people that really feel the driving indoors is completely separated from outdoors. It shouldn't be, but certainly it's one of those areas that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is for me and it is for a few other people I know. But you do have the confidence. If you've got a simulator, you're hitting so many shots, you should have the confidence. You're not going to you're going to get rid of some of those silly shots from just not being able to practice, because you can hit so much, and the repetition, and get used to nerves. If you want to take part in online golf tour, there's weekly competitions, there's fun competitions like scrambles where it's no pressure. There's others that tour competitions, which especially the team events, things like the Ryder Cup and President's Cup. You might be playing and having 15, 20 people that are watching on a stream remotely, really wanting you to win that game. So these can be full of pressure, and it can feel really good if you can hold it together, albeit there's a little bit more pressure to it. So hopefully that's explained some of the things. Let's say I believe having a simulator should make you a better golfer. If you're a very, very good golfer, it will take you some time to learn the nuances of the software to be able to compete at the level you are in real life. In other words, you're going to end up probably being behind fools like me that you could destroy in a real course, but because I know the nuances and I'm able to kind of use the simulator benefits, it's putting me at an advantage until you get used to those elements. But certainly If you are looking at building a simulator, please consider HybridMe. And that's gone on a bit longer than I intended. www.hybridme.co.uk. If you're looking to buy a Skytrack, I've got a coupon. I'd be grateful if you would type it in. If there's a promotion, certainly the coupon will also have a promotion. There'll be a special coupon. Any comments, any questions, anything you'd like me to do differently, better, something new, just please let me know. Thank you for watching if you have watched to this point. Here endeth the stream. Goodbye.